What's up, guys? This is Mitchell back with my 1 year Refold Russian update video for you. The last video I made was about 3 months into my Refold language learning journey. So in this video, I'll be covering some of the metrics I've gathered since then, my experience learning the language, and also some tools and resources that I think you'll find helpful as you begin your own language learning journey. So let's get started. All right, so let's dive into some of the concrete metrics that I've been able to gather in the past year, specifically the total number of hours I've spent studying and how I've spent that time. This is a free site called polylogger.com that you can sign up for to track your studying time and categorize it based on what you're doing. It's free and I'd really recommend it. So I have about 587 hours logged in the past year for an average of about 1.5 hours a day. And that's been split between these four categories: listening, reading, vocabulary, and grammar. The majority of my time has been spent listening. It comes out to about 445 hours of listening, and the remainder of the time has been split between reading and vocabulary. Most of that vocabulary time occurred in the first couple of months when I was still working through the deck of the most 1,000 commonly used words. My total known word count is probably somewhere between 2 and 3,000 words. I'm basing that off of LingQ's estimate. Unfortunately, because Russian has so many different verb endings for the same word, LingQ counts those as different words. So LingQ says I know about 4,000 or 5,000 words. So I just tend to chop that in half to get a general idea of my progression. Now, I'll briefly discuss Anki or Anki, which is one of the main tools that you'll use in the refold process. Once you finish your 1,000 or 1,500 most commonly used words in your target language, then Refold suggests creating sentence mining flashcards for words that you want to learn after that point. I stopped in the most commonly used words deck around the 12 or 300 or 1,300 word mark. You don't have to go all the way to 1,500. You could if you want to. But for me, at that point, it was more interesting to move on. I felt like I had a good enough foundation to be able to move forward. So that's what I did. So here's an example of one of my flashcards. And in this case, this dividing line separates the front and the back of the flashcard. On the front, we have the sentence in Russian. We also have a brief audio clip of the word itself, which in this case is self or sit. And then on the back side, we have the translation in English. Then we have the word and its definition. So pretty simple to make. What I'll do is I'll write down these sentences as I'm reading, and I'll put them in Notepad or somewhere else. And then later on, I'll plug them into Google Translate and use that to create these flashcards. So at this point, after 1 year, you're probably wondering, well, how do you feel? And to be honest, some days really good and other days not so good. But that's okay. That's just life. I've definitely made a lot of progress in the past 9 months, and I can confidently say that I understand more Russian than I've ever been able to before, especially a year ago when I began this journey. But there's still a lot to learn. It's important to celebrate these small victories, and some of those have been being able to clearly distinguish between words when people are speaking at a relatively normal speed, and then also being able to understand the main point or the gist of more and more videos, especially videos from Russian with Max. He is one of the YouTubers or the resources that I will recommend later on in the video. And there have been in particular, two of his videos that I've been able to watch and summarize. The entire video is about 30 minutes of audio total between the two videos. And I was able to summarize everything that he was saying. I caught practically all of the words, and I could confidently understand what he was talking about. So that was a big, big win for me. So, like I said, I still have a lot to learn, but I'm definitely making progress, and it's been adding up day by day. Here, I'll show you some of my favorite resources that I've used as I've been learning Russian. The first of those is LingQ, which you may have heard of if you've gone and seen any of Steve Kaufman's videos on YouTube, LingQ is a tool that he's created that lets you easily import and read material in your target language from a variety of sources, such as YouTube transcripts, PDFs, or ebooks. I use it a lot. This is the sole tool that I use for my reading, and I use it to import transcripts from Russian with Max and then use those to build up my vocabulary and create those sentence mining flashcards. It has a built-in dictionary, which you can see here on the right when you click a word, and also has built-in flashcard tools and a couple other great features. I really recommend checking it out. It is a paid tool, but they have different pricing plans, and hopefully you could find something that works for you. I'd really recommend it if you want to get into reading. There is a mobile app so you can take it with you wherever you go. Another tool I enjoy is Youglish.com/Russian. It's a tool that you can use to quickly find Russian words in context using YouTube videos, so you can catch those pesky words that you just can't find sentences for when you're reading through text. So Youglish.com is a great option there. For looking up definitions of words, specifically their frequency, you can use OpenRussian.org, and that will let you plug in a Russian word. It'll find some example sentences and then also give you the root of the word and how common it is in everyday speech. The final resource that I want to point out here is called Kadikama.online. It's a Russian site with a lot of Russian videos, TV shows, from kid shows to adult shows that you can watch for free. And I think it's a great alternative to YouTube and other video content online. All right, in this last stretch of this video, I want to briefly summarize my daily language learning routine and how I persevere and handle frustration. So, my daily routine tends to center around listening to podcasts, and that's because I work full time and it's an easy way to fit in a few minutes of listening during my breaks. Personally, I'm a big fan of the Pomodoro method for breaking up my workday, and in those longer breaks, I will get some podcast listening in, and that lets me knock out about an hour of listening just through breaks at work. And then I'll also try and fit in a bit more during the evening if I have time. So that's what's been getting me up to about that hour and a half a day, though the goal that I've set for myself is just an hour a day. And then also, of course, with language learning, there is always frustration. There's some days where you feel like you're not making a lot of progress and you're just not happy with where you're at. And that's okay. That's just part of the process. So one of the important things to do is figure out, what do you enjoy? Maybe you enjoy watching videos, or maybe you enjoy reading more than watching videos. Just figure out what you like. Well, some of the first things I did in my first couple of months were watch some TV shows, specifically some anime and some YouTube videos, and I had no idea what they were saying. But visually, I enjoyed the content. I enjoyed the plot that I was able to pick up from reading about it online, and that kept me engaged. So find something that you enjoy, even if you don't understand a lot of it, and just absorb that and spend time with it, and you'll gradually begin to make more progress. Some of the things that I've done to boost my confidence that you could do is going back and revisiting some of the content that you've watched or listened to early on in your language learning journey, and then seeing the progress that you've made since then, because you will understand more. Maybe it's just getting another word here or there, or picking up an entire sentence, or even the gist of what people are saying, but you will understand more. And then another thing you can do is write down words that are particularly tricky for you to learn right now. And then as you create sentence cards for those and revisit them in a couple months, you're going to find that you will understand a lot more of those words, if not all of them. Also, and probably most important, is to set an attainable, enjoyable daily goal for yourself. Don't make a hobby into another job. Set a goal that is challenging, but is something that is realistic with your lifestyle and your schedule. So that way you don't get burnt out. It's better to do 30 minutes every day for a year than it is to do 3 hours for 5 days and then get burnt out and never come back to it. And that's all I have for you in this update. I hope some of that information was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to post a comment, click that like button, and I'll try to help you out with whatever I can. All right. Thanks, guys.